how's it going, buddy?
I thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I know it took my job sucks, dude.
Nah, you're all right. Anytime, man.
um, yeah, Paul Smith, ladies and gentlemen, he's got 2 deployments overseas to Iraq, and he's got some pretty cool photos I've seen. Some of them are not appropriate, however, history nonetheless, And thank you for coming on the show, dude.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. This is the first time I've done anything about this on any show or anything, so it's pretty cool for me, actually.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Obviously, it's where I'm small podcast. I'm not freaking Joe Rogan or Sean
Right.
Ryan or anybody like that. But the difference I always found is like, they never have anybody like the conventional fighters on, right? And in
Right.
I'm in firm belief that like if you were in the Marine infantry or the Army infantry, dude, you saw way more kinetic activity than the majority of like a SEAL team or like a SF unit, dude, because they would do raids and then they would leave. Like you guys would do raids and then you'd have to stay and poke
Right.
forever, dude. You know what I mean? So,
Well, until the Army came in and took back over. And then we kept pushing forward.
yeah. So the Marine Corps, dude. Like, how did you join the Marine Corps? Like, what made you want to join the Marine Corps?
Actually, I came from a pretty broken family, like addicts for parents and alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I wanted to get out of that situation being young. So I went in the delayed entry program when I was a junior in high school. And my neighbor was a Marine. He was like 4 years older than me, and I seen him coming home on leave, and he had all these hot girlfriends all the time. And I was like, "Yep, that's the one." I was like, "I'm out of here, and that's the only one I want to do." So
Yeah.
that just sold me right then and there. I never thought about another branch. That was the only one I seen, and he had it going for him. So I was like, "That guy looks good. He's got it going for him, and that's what I want to do." So I was in the delayed entry program for a year, and I shipped out 3 days after I graduated high school.
What like growing up in a broken home, I found that as a common occurrence on here is with infantry guys like Army and Marines, like I said, they usually have like a hard life uh before they join. And like why do you think that like led you to do that though, besides the girlfriend? Is that the only reason or what?
I mean, uh, I've always wanted to be like the toughest, baddest dude. So I was like, I'm going the hardest thing I can do. The Marine Corps, the infantry, like it was just in me to do that. I didn't think about any other thing. There was no other thing except for the hardest thing to do. And that's why I
Mhm.
chose that. But that was before 9/11. I mean, this was June of 2001. So none of this war stuff started. I thought I was going to go shoot a bunch of machine guns and meet women overseas. Like I thought it was going to be a great time.
Yeah. um yeah, dude, the childhood bringing, I've noticed too is another thing. Like it kind of affects you later on in life too, like with the stuff that you deal with like today and then the war. Like not you specifically, but like people have all that and then like it just bottles of emotions and it kind of just overwhelms over time.
Right. I knew I just wanted out of my situation at home. It was not good. It's not me. It's not who I was as a person. I
Hmm.
just didn't want to follow in those footsteps at all. And
Yeah.
I knew what a normal life was like because I had friends that had normal families and stuff. And I was like, and I wasn't, no one helped me go to college. It wasn't like someone was going to help me pass school, make me go to school. I did it all on my own in high school, everything. I just wanted to make it to the military. That was my ticket out of my hometown where I was,
Yeah.
anything. So
Did you did you like kind of rekindle or reconnect with your family or
oh
nothing?
yeah, I mean not now, but I have. But my mother's still an addict,
Yeah.
alcoholic. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it's hard when you can't trust that person at all,
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
But we'll talk occasionally.
Yeah. And
But
and
there's
your
no close relationships.
yeah. And what about your dad? Was he around or anything
Oh,
like
my
that?
dad was like I had a lot of like stepdads and stuff. I grew up with my mother. My real father was never really in my life much.
Hmm.
Not his choice. My mom was like obviously fighting with him. It was horrible, but he hardly ever took us. He did maybe a few times a year, but he wasn't like a great father figure. He tried, but he didn't have the money to do it.
Right. Right. So how was your your growing up, once you decided to get into the delayed entry program, were you like, hey, I need to train, or were you pretty athletic already, or no?
I was actually pretty athletic. I mean, despite my upbringing, people didn't know who I was at school. I hung out with the uppity kids. I was played football, wrestling, lacrosse. I did everything to act and look the part, even though I wasn't in high school. So I had like a good group of friends. I mean, I think that's what made me go to school every day and continue doing it. I mean, my parents, my sibling dropped out of school at 15. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't made to go to school. No one woke me up. I just did that on my own just so I can get out of there.
Right. So that you left your senior year after your senior year, right?
3 day. I graduated June 24th and I left June 27th to go in the Marine Corps.
And this was way before, not way before, but this was a couple months before 9/11 happened.
Yep. 9/11 happened while I was in Paris Island.
Oh, okay. How was like Paris Island, man? You know, like is it like the
It's
movies?
Yeah, it sucked. I mean, I was in 2084 platoon 2084 hotel company, second battalion there, and I went in the middle of the summer. I mean, that
Yeah,
was brutal. I come from upstate New York. It's cold up here. I mean, up
right.
near Canada. I was not ready for sand, fire ants I've never seen before. They were biting my legs. I never even heard of these things. Like, it was rough, but I
Yeah,
knew I had to do it. There was no quit in me. I was
yeah,
just a fly on the wall. I was never first, never last. They didn't even know who I was until like the third phase. They thought I was some imposter.
yeah.
I was just making skating through. That's what I did all the time. I mean, that's how I made the whole military.
Hey, so you mentioned like the third phase, like so what is like the first phase, like the first like 4 weeks or what?
Well, you get there the first week, it's 13 weeks. So the first week, it's more of like intern. Like you start getting all your gear, all your you get your platoon, they start moving you around. You hardly ever sleep. Excuse me. And then you'll meet your drill instructors, and then the first phase is 4 weeks of hell. And then the second phase, they trust you a little more. You start doing team building stuff. First phase is breaking you down. Second phase is building you back up. And the third phase is basically rifle range, making you Marine, stuff like that,
Yeah,
crucible. So there's like, I don't know how they break it down, but there's 3 different phases.
yeah. So did you find it quite challenging though, like the physical portion of it, or was it more mental?
For me, it was more mental. I was
Oh,
physically pretty fit at the time. I played sports and stuff. That didn't bother me, but the mental breakdown, that was pretty crucial. Like, I was like, holy cow. But you
yeah.
need to do it. I mean, it made me who I am now. So,
Yeah. How was the direction of the Marines back then? Because there wasn't really like a war going on, and you were joining the infantry. You know what I mean? Like, what were they kind of putting in y'all's mind?
I mean, in boot camp, they don't really know what job you have. So
Right.
it was just standard boot camp at that time. I mean, no wars going on, nothing. I mean, I didn't really know about it until third phase. And
Yeah.
they showed us the newspaper after 9/11. But I was getting ready to graduate here in a couple weeks. So all they said was, excuse me, I got a cough. All they said was, like, you boys are going to war, you know. But and then it's a couple weeks later, all of a sudden I got the School of Infantry, and then it got real. These guys are like, we're going to war, boys, like playing football now. We get to play the game. They're all excited. We're like, I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Holy cow, I did not sign up for this.
Yeah. So 9/11 happened while you were still in boot camp, not in
Yep.
your infantry training, right?
Yeah, I was in boot camp. I wasn't in infantry training. It
Did
was
they
a few
like
weeks before that.
did they like lock you guys down or anything when it happened, or like what happened?
No, it was kind of weird. Like, 9/11 happened. We didn't know about it. 9/12, the following morning, the drill instructors woke us up early, like 5 in the morning or something, and
Yeah.
just showed us the front page of the newspaper. And it says, anybody here from New York City or have family there? I remember a few kids raised their hands. I didn't. Obviously, I was from upstate New York. I don't know anybody there. And they got to call home to make sure their
Mhm.
family was okay. No one left, so I know everybody's family was okay, at least in my platoon.
Right.
And that was basically it. I mean, we were at the end, like doing the crucible and stuff. So it wasn't like they had time to sit down and digest that. It was like training as usual, ba ba ba. 2 weeks later, I was graduated, you know.
Yeah. Okay. And then once you graduate from there, you head over to the Marine School of Infantry. Where's that at?
That was in Camp Geiger, right next to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, the other side of the river.
Okay. And like obviously you just mentioned too, hey, they're telling y'all are going to war and everything like that. This is what you guys signed up to do, like
Yeah.
infantry, you know. How are you feeling when they tell you guys this stuff?
I mean, we're excited actually. I mean, it's like I put it like imagine being on a football team and told you're the greatest football team in the whole world, like no one will ever beat you.
Yeah.
And you practice, and you never get to play a game ever. Like
Yeah.
these boys are like, you get to play a game now, so no one's afraid. You're already told you're the greatest in the world. You have the greatest weaponry. No one will ever beat you.
Yeah.
And then you get to play the game. It's like no holds bar. It was like more exciting than it was scary for us, for me at least.
Yeah. So how long is that school of infantry?
I forgot what that was, like 6 or 8 weeks. I forgot.
Yeah.
Like all Marines go to what they call is MCT, Marine Combat Training, after they go to boot camp, except for infantry guys. Excuse me, all of them. So all the other MOSs, infantry, go to MCT, which is like 3 weeks of Marine Combat Training, where they say every Marine's a basic rifleman first, because they have to go to that combat training.
Okay.
And then they go to their school.
Right.
For infantry, we go right to School of Infantry, which is on that same base, but we stay there like 6 or 8 weeks, and we really like break down all the weapon systems, all the way to tow missiles, down to the M16. So,
well, I know there's like multiple infantry jobs.
Yeah.
With the Marine Corps, like what how many different ones were there, and did you
I think there's like 4 or 5. I mean, there's some like sub ones that I don't know, but like I was a rifleman, 0311. There's 0331s, 41s, 51s, and then 0313s that I know about. But there might be another 03 MOS, like a sniper. I don't know exactly what that one is. You know what I mean? But there could be another one.
Yeah. Did you know that you were gonna get 0311 when you left from like the MEP station, or did they tell you?
That's I signed up to be a rifleman.
Okay. And I've heard from other Marines I've had on my show, that's like the preferred one, you know.
Yeah, I signed up for it because that's just what I wanted to do. I mean, I was like, what's the hardest? I literally talked to the recruiter. What's the hardest job? What's the hardest one? That's the one I want to do.
Yeah.
I just wanted to prove myself.
Right. And when you're talking about proving yourself, do you feel like it was like proving yourself to yourself, or do you feel like you had to make a name from the family history?
Yeah,
like,
I had to make a name from where I came from. Like, look what I can do.
Yeah.
You know, you guys all are nothing. Here I am.
So let's say the School of Infantry, you said it's like roughly 6 to 7 weeks, and then it's like, so you leave out of there to your first duty station probably around November timeframe.
November, December, somewhere around there. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Where did you head to first?
I went right to Camp Lejeune, 1st Battalion, 8th Marines. It was funny. Like, they give you a wish list.
Yeah.
Like, where do you want to get stationed? All this other bull crap. And they literally line you up like you're graduating School of Infantry. They literally line you up in alphabetical order. Like, all right, A through, whatever, A through T, you guys are going 1st Battalion, 8th Marines, and T through whatever, you guys are going to LAR, and 3 of these guys are going over to here. There's literally they don't even look at a list. It's alphabetical order. Where we need you, you're going here.
Yeah.
And Camp Lejeune's right. I wanted to go to Hawaii. I had that as my first duty station. Like, get me as far away from New York as I can go. Hawaii sounds great.
Right.
And then I picked San Diego, California. And last on my list was Camp Lejeune. And gosh, they literally put us on buses. It was pretty funny and scary at the same time. Because you're going into the Fleet Marine Corps now, so you're going to get hazed a bit. Yeah. These guys have been over there a bit. You know it's coming. And they line us up and put us in alphabetical order right after graduation. And it's like getting dusk. I remember that. It was like late in the evening, and they put us right on buses. We're that close to Camp Lejeune, they're just going to bus us right over. Yeah. Put all of our sea bags on there, and they drove us over to Camp Lejeune. This is all new to us. And they park in the middle of the quad, and it's nighttime. And there's literally hundreds of Marines on all the decks of the barracks around there screaming boot and throwing stuff. And they're playing taps on the trumpet. Oh, it was scary as hell coming off that bus with all these salty Marines up there just waiting to get at you like fresh meat.
Hey, so when you get to Camp Lejeune first, like obviously you have to like in process into the base, right? Or whatever. What is that like? Or are you with your battalion while you're doing it?
See, you're just like with your battalion while you're doing it. I mean, we went there at nighttime,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember getting off the bus, and all the platoon sergeants were there and platoon commanders, and they had like a list of where all the new guys were going.
Right.
I got assigned to Charlie Company, 3rd Platoon, and I forgot what fire team I was assigned to. I remember I had Corporal Weaver was my fire team leader. He was from Colorado, and we went straight there, and there was like 2 of us boots. They called us fresh out of boot camp. 2 boots and 2 salty guys. Salty means you already been on a deployment overseas. Your camis are salty from the ocean. So 2 salt dogs and 2 boots in your fire team, and they kind of take over. You don't see anybody else. They like take care of your every move. They like bring you to get your rifle. They bring you to get all your stuff, your gear that you'll need. They show you around. They're kind of like your chaperones, but they're still your bosses. It's your fire team leader. They're trying to build like, they're not super jerks. They're trying to build a team here. We got to work together, but they show you around. So I didn't really have much like processing as in like, we all go do this. We all go do this. It's kind of more one-on-one. I don't remember seeing many people. Like we went around as fire teams and did everything together.
Yeah. So you're there like, obviously you guys probably do Christmas leave and all that stuff. What is what's happening like the beginning of January of like 2002?
Gosh, see, 1st Battalion, 8th Marines, where I was, already have like a schedule built out.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing extreme cold weather training. So we went right to Bridgeport, California.
Yeah.
That was horrible. Spent a couple months in the mountains up there doing extreme cold weather training, learning how to ski and all that. And then we went over to Norway shortly after that. That was probably March of 2002, April. And we went over to Norway and did like a NATO operation, laser tag, a huge laser tag thing with like the Dutch, the Norwegians. We were all on like teams. We had laser tags hooked to our guns with our blanks in there. I mean, we had tanks there and everything. We hopped in. The Norwegians were on our team, like Team USA, Team Norway. And we hopped in some of their Pumas, like their little helicopters in the middle of the night. Those are some of the craziest stuff I've ever done. We were flying in between their houses in the middle of the city in the middle of the night. We fast roped out the bottom into somebody's backyard. And in Norway, like nobody owns the land. The government owns it all, and they just allot you land so they can just do this. And imagine being these people that wake up in the morning with a platoon of Marines like dug 4 feet in your backyard and digging trenches. They were so nice. They came out and offered us tea and all these baked goods they were making. I was like, if this happened in the United States and I woke up with a platoon of Marines in my backyard, it'd be fight on sight. I'm not offering tea. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. This is a different, it's like a platoon of Norwegians here. It wouldn't be like Americans. That's crazy. Right. You wouldn't think that. But that was pretty cool. We did that NATO operation. And then we came back. And then we did a workup to go on a deployment. We were scheduled for the 26th MU, the Marine Expeditionary Unit. And that left in, I think, October of 2000. No, when did I get back? Golly, I'd have to look it up. You might have it in your list of my deployments of the date that I left in that deployment.
This says January 2003.
Okay. So we left in 2003. So we came back from that NATO operation, and then we did a lot of workups to go on to the Marine Expeditionary Unit. I was in Helo Company, Charlie Company. So we had to work with a lot of helicopters in and out of CH-46s, CH-53s, fast roping out the bottom of them, landing on ship, taking back off, landing on shore, doing a ton of infantry like practices, raids, landing on roofs, clearing houses. So we did that for a few months, and then we left in January of 2003 on the ship.
So let's backtrack a little bit. So like the whole year of 2002 is like business as usual. Like it's just like train ups, and you guys.
It was what they already had scheduled before we even got there. It was like they're scheduled a couple years out already. So it was like we hopped right into the mix of things. Like people were already. It was like going into a job that was already a fine-tuned machine, and you're just added to it, and you just find your spot and go.
What how do you feel like during this training and stuff? Like, is this everything that you envisioned like I would do as an infantryman?
It sucked. It sucked, but all of us
Yeah.
thought it sucked. You know what I mean? So
Right.
just like you and I are laughing right now, that's how we laughed about it. Like
Yeah.
this is ridiculous.
They
Some of
did
the
some
stuff.
stupid stuff, right? You're
Oh
like,
yeah, tons. Fuck games, all sorts of stuff. Like
yeah.
rifle ranges, 40 click humps for the no reason in the middle of the fucking sun. Like there's just stuff that there's no reason to do this stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's training as usual. It's building you stronger, like together.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? As your fire team and your buddies, I'm for sure. You all
Mhm.
go through the suck together. You become
Yeah.
bonded.
And you guys already knew you were gonna go on the Mew in January.
Yep.
Okay, because like obvious. So right now during the 2002 time frame, the invasion of Afghanistan is happening.
No, invasion of Iraq happened in 2003.
So like so what I'm trying to get at though is like they went into Afghanistan first, remember, because they were trying to
Yeah,
find
yeah, yeah,
Osama
yeah.
and stuff. So I'm trying to like that is going on, and it's usually like those special operations dudes. I think like 10th Mountain was there, but that's about it. And are they telling y'all like things are heating
They
up in
told us we
Iraq or
weren't
anything
really
like that?
going into Afghanistan. I remember that. Like,
Yeah.
we're there. A MU is like a force in readiness. We're not there to fight a war. We're there to do whatever you got to do in and out. We got to be ready for the next thing. We're always there, always ready to go, no matter what country it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we knew we weren't going anywhere for a long period of time. We're not going to Afghanistan unless they need to take over like an airport really quick, and then we'll come out. We're like that type of MU does that type of work. So it's not a full on deployment where you're securing stuff and doing patrols or any of that.
Yeah. So, okay, so when you start doing the Mew stuff in January, and you guys are because the way I was explained to me from previous guests I've had on is like you guys are on a ship and you guys are doing trainings and stuff like that, preparing, like you said, for certain missions and stuff. But later on into 2003, the invasion of Iraq is happening. Are they telling y'all you're gonna go over there or no?
See what actually something in Liberia popped off, and maybe it was after the invasion of Iraq, but we did go to Liberia too. I
Hmm.
forgot exactly what the date is on that, but the like rebels were trying to take over overthrow the government, and the Liberian president of Liberia ran to the U.S. embassy at the time, of
Hmm.
course, because he felt protected. So we went in there, and it was like one day and rescued him out of there.
Yeah.
But like that was my first time ever seeing dead bodies. Was on the beach there
Yeah.
and flying over top of them, and it was just like, whoa, this is a war-torn country. And we
Yeah.
landed on the roof of the embassy, and we were in and we were out, and that was over. But I think that was before we went into Iraq. But they weren't telling us anything. They don't like work you up. They just all of a sudden, hey, we're going.
Yeah.
There's no prep for that.
That's kind of weird though. I'm trying to figure out why you guys would go rescue the Liberian president.
Because he
Like,
went to the U.S. embassy.
oh, okay, okay.
He
Makes
fled to where
sense.
he thought he was the safest. And
Yeah.
now they're going. Now the rebels are coming after the U.S. embassy. That no, you don't.
Yes,
Now the
exactly.
Marines are coming there, and he got out in a helicopter, and I think they took over the country. We weren't there to like fight anybody. We're there
Yeah,
just to protect our embassy. We didn't care about anything else. That was your war. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. That makes a lot more sense.
So of course he fled to his safest spot. Was like, they ain't gonna get me in here.
Yeah, they know better not to go into the spot because
Yeah,
the wrath of America is coming.
yeah. So
Like,
exactly, he went to the safest spot he could. I don't blame him.
yeah. What time frame was this around? Like,
I can't remember, man. I think that might have been even February of 2003.
oh wow, dude,
It was like
that was
we
really
went
early
right
on.
overseas, and all of a sudden we were like right off the coast.
Yeah.
But I went to a lot of countries when I was on that ship too, man. We went to like Italy, Malta,
Hmm.
Crete, Portugal. Gosh, a lot. I can't even think of all of them. We stopped at different ports all the time. It was almost like a cruise half the time.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was. Did
I
you
mean,
actually
the
did you
Marines
enjoy
really
it?
have no job on the ship.
Yeah.
We have no job. Like all the Navy people have a job. Like they're doing a job every day. Dude,
Yeah.
they probably hate us. We watch movies in our racks all day on DVDs, eat all their food as many times as we can a day. We don't have anything else to do. We're bored. We're playing cards. We're playing spades in the cafeteria all day long. They got to be jealous as hell. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
weeks on end, you got all these guys. They're working their butts off, and we're just doing nothing but eating chow and hanging out.
Yeah.
But when shit hits the fan, we're the ones getting off the ship, and they're still eating hot chow. So
Right. Absolutely. Um. So you finish up the 2003 Mew.
We actually went into Iraq on that one. I forgot to tell you that.
You did?
We went, yeah, for when we first invaded. President Bush said we were going to invade, and they came up from Kuwait, all their Marines and stuff,
Yeah.
like went through Nasiriyah and all that. We went off ship and took over the Mosul airport in northern Iraq.
What's up, everyone? I just want to hop on here real quick and give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Fleming's Cleaning. Go ahead and use code word GWOT13 for 10% off your next residential or commercial cleaning. Also, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so, go ahead and hit Spotify up and follow there if you like to listen to podcasts on the road. Also, go ahead and follow our major socials on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at the GWOT Goons. Share this content, please. And with that, let's get back into the episode.
Don't go ahead and hang up.
No, you're good.
But we went off ship and went into Mosul in northern Iraq and took over that airport. Mm-hmm. And that was the easiest thing we ever did. We thought we were going to get into firefights and stuff. It was nothing. It was deserted when we got there. We secured the border of it, and we probably stayed there like a week. We had an Iraqi army giving up left and right. Walking in, arms up. They did not want to fight us at all. They wanted nothing to do with us. They were fighting for Saddam, and they didn't even want to fight for him anyway. You know what I mean? They weren't insurgents at the time. They're like, let us have our houses back and all this other stuff. So that really wasn't. We got in one little firefight, to be honest. I think we started the firefight and then finished the firefight ourselves.
Yeah.
I think someone snapped around, and it was for like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden it stopped, and there was no casualties on either side. Like, we went and patrolled the streets right after that, and there was no casualties. So I think it was like a self-inflicted firefight, to be honest, but I wasn't there.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys are going through 2003, you know what I mean? Like, you're still doing your Mew thing, and then what is it like coming off of that?
I mean, it was pretty nice. We were on it for 8 months, man. That was a long time.
Yeah.
We didn't get back to the end of October. So I was just happy to be home and just like doing normal stuff in the United States. I mean, we hung out and we started normal life back in the barracks. Actually, I got in trouble on the ship for hazing, and which 9 of us got in trouble. And we were hazing a guy that was our same seniority. All we did was rub Nair on his hair because he cared about his hair so much. And we pinned him down and rubbed Nair on it, so he had to shave his head. This is when we first started the ship. But he ended up crying halfway through and said these guys all held me down and did this to my hair. So they wanted to make an example out of us. So he court-martialed all of us, 9 of us that were in the aisle.
Yeah.
And so I got busted down to PFC at the time, which was E2. And then they put me, as soon as we got back off the ship, they put me in the Alpha company where I was no longer allowed in the company I was in. All 9 of us got moved around to the battalion. So they put me over in the Alpha company right off the ship. And that was the greatest move ever. I went from a company that I hated to Alpha company, which was like so cool, like a real Marine company that you could hang out. Like, it was like boot camp over in Charlie company. Yes, sir. And all this other stuff. Like, yeah, I go over to Alpha company and my platoon sergeant, he's like, hey, what's up, dog? I'm Staff Sergeant Oberst. I was like, what? Like, he's just talking to me like I'm a normal human. Yeah. He didn't even look at me like I was a criminal. You know what I mean? So that was pretty nice. But actually, all of that, I got in trouble on the ship, and all of that never got processed or nothing. No paperwork ever got filed. I got a good conduct medal. Like, I've never been in trouble. So I don't know why they even went through with any of it, because none of it ever got processed. So my whole military record's squeaky clean. I never did anything wrong.
Yeah. What was the major difference, like, with the company? Was it the leadership or what?
Yeah, 100% the leadership. Charlie company sucked. I'm not going to put any names, but they were all out of the drill field. The first sergeant was, the company gunny was out of the drill field. My platoon sergeant was directly out of the drill field. I mean, these are all drill instructors coming out of the drill field and now trying to organize an infantry company. But when the head shed from the top down as drill instructors, I mean, we were doing like uniform inspections on Saturday mornings in the quad for no reason, and like alphas and stuff, when all the other companies are drinking beer and laughing, and we're down doing uniform inspections, like, and he's checking for like little fabric ties that aren't tied up. I'm like, this is insanity. We're not in boot camp anymore. We're supposed to be in the military here.
Yeah. It's such a weird environment too, to be doing to care about certain stuff like that too, you know?
Yeah, that's like the craziest thing. And then I get over to Alpha company, and like the first sergeant's out of the air wing, which those guys are on a first name basis. They don't even use rank over there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's cool as hell. And then the company gunny is like he's out of the drill field, but he's like the coolest guy in the world. He loves everybody and wants to care for his guys. I was like, this is like the best. I'm so happy that I did the actual deployment to Iraq with Alpha Company, and all my greatest friends are all from Alpha Company that I talked to.
Yeah.
Still
So
to this guy.
how's like the training after the MEU? Like, are you guys still like doing field operations and stuff like that?
Okay, we get back. I went over to Alpha Company, and we knew we were going to Iraq.
Okay.
That was already determined. We were going to leave for Iraq. That was our next deployment. All of our training and operations were for deploying to Iraq. A lot of rifle ranges. We went to like Fort AP Hill, which is an army base in Virginia, and they have tons of like mechanical ranges and stuff. We did that for like a month. We flew out to Los Angeles. They have like an old Air Force on base housing that is like no longer used. So there's a bunch of houses, and we did CQB training there,
Mm-hmm.
house to house clearing. They had other Marines that were bad guys, like pretending to be bad guys, running around and fighting against us with simunition rounds, like paintball rounds and stuff. We did a lot of that. We did a lot of like shooting through walls. Like they would build houses out of studs, wood, but plastic walls, like plastic bags, black plastic bags, and you'd be in a warehouse and you could shoot through walls, and you'd have to like learn to talk and where you could shoot through walls and hit people. We did it all with those simunition rounds, those paintball rounds.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of training to go to Iraq, which we thought was stupid at the time, but thank gosh we did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So did you guys did they not tell y'all that y'all were going to be doing CQB over there in Iraq?
No,
or?
they didn't expect us to be doing CQB at all.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Iraq was not CQB before Fallujah.
Right. So when you get to like, obviously you're doing the train ups, like you're doing like everybody, you know, you got to do your photos, and like if you get captured or you die, and then you take leave beforehand. Are you still like a single Marine at this point, or are you starting to get married or anything like that?
I was not single. I had a girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're still married now. I had a girlfriend at the time. She was in high school still. And to tell you the truth, I was just trying to plant my seed. I thought I was going to die. I really did. And a lot of us we almost made a pact. Like a lot of us dudes are like, let's go. We're all going to die over there. Because you know the insurgency starting. So Iraq's changed. Now it's all these guys from other countries that just straight up want to kill us. Yeah. IEDs, roadside bombs. Like we know we're going into the heart of it. And this is 2004. So this is right when it's like in the heart of it.
Yeah.
So we just thought we were going to die. So I was with my wife now, but my girlfriend then, I actually did get her pregnant. So she was pregnant the whole time I was gone. I had a baby right when we got back.
So how are you feeling like leaving like your soon to be wife and your baby? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I bring this up because a lot of guys do it, right? Like, you know, they leave and we don't get to see the births and stuff like that.
Right. I didn't know she was pregnant right away. She didn't tell me until like 4 months on my deployment.
Right.
So I didn't know that. I didn't really care about leaving my mom and stuff. Like that wasn't, I'm not going home. You know what I mean? That was home for me. I lived in North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like, right. So I was more just going to miss my wife more than anything. So, but I was ready to play the game. You know what I mean? I've been practicing. We're ready to go play ball.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. When you guys leave to Iraq, where do you guys land first? Obviously you don't, is there like, you go to Kuwait or something like that or what?
I don't know. I think we landed right in Al Asad Air Base. Mm-hmm. No, we landed in Kuwait. That's right. Because we took a World Air Jet, a commercial airliner there. And we landed in Ireland or Germany first, refueled. I remember getting off there and landed in Kuwait. And then somehow we got to Al Asad Air Base. But that's where we were stationed. I was almost like, I don't know how we got there, but it was within 2 days. We were already at Al Asad Air Base. Our sea bags were there. That transportation, that whole logistics was all set up already.
Yeah. What are they telling you guys, like, when you get to Al Asad Air Base? Like, are they, like, telling you how the enemy is already? Because are you guys replacing anybody or no?
We're just replacing another Marine unit that was there, but they're not in heavy combat at all. They got into some roadside bombs, like IEDs sporadically. But Al-Assad Air Base was already a massive United States air base. They were landing aircraft in and out of there. They had like an infantry side where we were, and they had these little Connex boxes, cubicles we called them. They had like little air conditioners in them, and they just had like 4 racks, 2 bunk beds. We had a TV in there, and basically we were on Overwatch. We did like rest, reaction, and then like on patrol. So it was like a week you would be out in the desert, and all we would do is just sit out in the desert and stare at a highway day and night, chase the shade around 7 tons and Humvees laying in the dirt,
Mm.
and nothing ever happened. To be honest, it was the most boring shit I ever did. I learned how to juggle. We all learned how to juggle rocks. Like
Yeah.
I can juggle to this day like a clown, because
Uh-huh.
that's all you had to do for days. Like I'm talking camping without the necessities in the middle of the desert, hiding underneath 7 tons for the shade, and no one ever even came near the road we were ever.
Yeah.
Like one time we found a roadside bomb that started to get dug up, but we were like on a patrol headed out to be in the desert, and
Mm-hmm.
we thought we saw where they're digging on the side of the road. So we pulled over, and they're like, yeah, that they were going to build one here, but they didn't or something.
Yeah. So you guys are the initial like phase, I guess, of your deployment, you guys are just pulling Overwatch and stuff like that. Is that
Yeah,
like one?
like there's Haditha Dam, which is a huge dam up in Iraq. It's right on the river. So like Bravo Company was in the dam, I think, and
Yeah.
our company was in Al Assad, and we patrolled between the dam and Al Assad, and there was like
Hmm.
3 ING checkpoints along the highway there, and we
Yeah.
would help those ING guys run their checkpoints when they would stop cars and check them or whatnot, and we would
Hmm.
hang out with those guys. It was actually pretty cool because they spoke no English and we spoke no Arabic, and then we were trying to like communicate by grunting and pointing, but we would trade $5, and one of the young dudes would run on his moped all the way into Haklania, the little city there, and come out with 2 or 3 whole roasted chickens covered in tinfoil, stuffed with vegetables, a block of ice, 2 2 liters of Faygo soda, and a bunch of pita bread stacked up. And for dudes that have been eating MREs for weeks, we got hot chicken and made food like we're trading every day. This guy was
Yeah.
happy to get $5 American and run into town. It was almost like a food service every time we got put at one of those. We were excited.
Yeah. Are you how long is this deployment did they tell you it was gonna be initially?
I think they said like 6 to 8 months. So
Okay.
it's all like 6 to 8 months. So we don't do like the Army comes home in between and then goes back. We don't do that. We Marines don't do that. Kind of just do a 6 month deployment and
Hmm.
then come back and get replaced.
Yeah. Are you so from July up until the Battle of Fallujah, you guys are just Overwatch. How did they tell y'all like, hey, we're gonna do the Battle of Fallujah?
We
You know what
lost
I
a
mean?
few guys in other platoons to
Uh-huh.
IEDs. Like we lost Todd Godwin. We lost a couple of guys. They actually flipped a Humvee in the desert, and
Hmm.
one in the turret passed away, and then the passenger got flown out the window. Like we had a few guys die in our battalion over there.
Hmm.
Before Fallujah, one of them was an IED, the other was like an accident. So like we have already known a few guys in this small battalion have died already, which sucked. But we were basically just doing that and patrolling. There's a little city called Haklania right beneath the dam. We would
Hmm.
patrol that little city. They would say hi to us. Like there's basically Overwatch. That's what we thought we were going to do the whole time we were in Iraq. I mean, we didn't, but we heard about Fallujah. Like we knew it was popping off there and there was insurgents there, but we weren't near it. We weren't near Baghdad. We weren't down near Camp Fallujah. We were up in Al Assad Air Base. So we
Hmm.
thought we might be going, but they didn't tell us or anything until they knew. And they didn't know. Now, watching my platoon commanders like videos and stuff, he didn't know until the last minute. And then he told us.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna convoy down there, or what do
Yeah,
you?
we
How?
did. We convoyed. They literally said we're going to Fallujah, and we were pumped. Like, fuck yeah, we're going. Finally, they called our name. And they put us in 7 tons and stuff, and we went down to Camp Fallujah. They put us in tents there, and we started training right away for the invasion. Like, they knew they had it planned out how we were going to invade, what we were going to invade, the order of attack. Like, so we started planning for the invasion right away. We were only there like a week to 10 days before we invaded the city. So it wasn't like we were there long.
Okay. So I'm actually very curious here. So, like, okay, you guys are at the camp, right? Are you guys in vehicles or what?
Yeah, the 7 tons. That's how we travel pretty much. The
Okay.
back of 7 tons, like a squad fits in each of them.
Yeah. So you guys are leaving Camp Fallujah.
No, Al-Assad Air Base, to Camp
Al
Fallujah.
Assad. Okay. So when you're in Camp Fallujah, though, and you guys start invading the city, like, what is it like?
Okay, so we staged before we invaded the city. We
Mm-hmm.
went staged on the north side of the city
Mm-hmm.
in the desert. So we rode 7 tons out there away from the city on the outskirts, and then or track vehicles. I don't know if you know what those are. Amtraks, we call them. They're just they hold like 10, 12 Marines. They got a gate that drops down in the back. They're amphibious.
Mm-hmm.
They got guns on the front of them. We took
Yeah.
those tracks in. We used a lot of those. Uh, but we staged on the outside of the city for like November 8th or 9th. We dug foxholes and just sat out there like camping. But
Yeah.
that whole time we were absolutely bombarding that city, the first few blocks with artillery from Camp Fallujah. It looked like fireworks for 2 days in front of us.
Oh shit.
Just white phosphorus, cracking like 200 yards ahead of us into the city, just leveling buildings in front of us.
Right. Damn, dude. So like after the 2 days, and they tell you, oh, hey, I'll push into Fallujah. Like,
So what happened was Bravo Company and Charlie Company pushed up from the edge of the city
mm-hmm.
and started working their way from the edge in. They went in before us.
Right.
Excuse me. They went in like November 10th that night. We didn't go in until they moved up like 2 blocks. Alpha Company's objective was the mayor's compound. So we went in when they were online. We took over the mayor's compound. So we just busted through the walls, got out at night, got out of the back of the tracks, took over the mayor's compound, and then Bravo and Charlie Company were online with us at that time. So my company didn't invade the first 2 blocks. We got inserted into the mayor's compound and took that over. And we were kind of the tip of the spear at that point.
Right. Well, what is the how long did this take place over time? Like, what is it like the first couple weeks of the battle?
Gosh, weeks. Let's break this down to days.
Yeah, let's break it down to days then.
Weeks is a lot here. There's a lot that happens in weeks. Weeks it was over. You know, the first day, gosh, we took over that mayor's compound in the middle of the night. Nobody shot at us, nothing. We
Mm-hmm.
woke up in the morning and that shit was hell. Like the light came up and we were building sandbags as fast as I can. RPGs were coming at us. Like it was almost like they were shooting them from too far away because they were losing their speed. And we could see them in the air and then they would start tumbling like end over end instead of going straight. And then they would just land and be duds and dink down the street or land in our compound and just hit there and not blow up. Like we'd get machine gun fire from random places, but it was not accurate at all. But we had no clue where all this was coming from. All of a sudden, we were sitting ducks, you know? So we had to do
Right.
something about it. It was,
And
then, gosh, we were right along a 6-lane highway. We called it Highway Fran. And we decided, I don't know, the battalion decided we were going to push across that highway and start taking the city after
mm-hmm.
like 2 days. And we pushed across that highway, and that's when the real war started. Like before that, there was only a few dead bodies here and there. We went across that highway. It was like 3 lanes, a huge median, 3 other lanes, right against some high rises, some like 8, 10-story buildings. Like we're talking a city. So we snuck down the side of it, and to this day they call it Haji Alley. We
Uh-huh.
we took our first road we could, which happened to be a little alley behind the back door of houses, like in their backyards, and we took the tanks with us. They were along with us. Thank gosh we did this because we came down. There wasn't room for the tanks. They were just knocking over the walls in their backyards, just
Right.
knocking stuff over like crazy. When we came in, we were in the backyards of all these houses. And so we're going in these houses, and the amount of ammo and guns that were in these houses, like just RPGs sitting there in the backyards, like they did not expect us coming that way. And then
Yeah.
we go up on the roofs, and they had like machine guns welded and mounted to the top of their roofs, pointed down the main road to where they thought we were going to come from.
Uh-huh.
So they were full on ready to attack us coming down the main road, and we just came down the alley behind them. They stupidly welded their guns there, so they couldn't turn them. They were stuck there in position, aimed down that road. So we just cut off their guns and started shooting them back at them. We literally had huge machine guns just ripping back at them, just shooting all their ammo so they couldn't have it back.
Yeah.
But we
Damn.
got on the rooftops there. Not gonna lie, like, because once you got on the first rooftop and started looking over into the area of the city that was all housing that we weren't in yet, and they were running around like fucking ants, man. They were everywhere. We were laying waste to them, hundreds of them.
So this is like, are you guys like split up like company wise or battalion or like
Not
doing
sure, because we
different,
work
you
on
know?
such a close knit level of guys. Like, I was with my fire team in my squad, in my platoon, which was in Alpha Company.
Yeah.
I don't know what Bravo and Charlie Company were not near us the whole time. Bravo Company stayed back in the main part of the city, and they did all the high rises. They took the most casualties.
Yeah.
Charlie Company stayed in the mayor's compound the whole entire time. Alpha Company pushed all the way to the edge of the city and set up a firm base on the south end of the city. So we weren't with the other companies at all. We were pretty much spread out, but all of our platoons were together.
Yeah. What's the main so what the main objective was, like, just destroy the enemy in the city?
Take over everything, house to house, man.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun until we started losing people. I mean,
Right.
we were winning.
Yeah. What ended up being the biggest threat during this battle?
The biggest threat?
Yeah.
You said? Going house to house, kicking indoors, man.
Yeah.
That literally is scary when they barricade themselves in and they're ready to go. You know what I mean? They know it's the end of the line. There's no going anywhere else. And when they know that, they're fighting to the death. And they like to hide and be quiet as shit. And like, gosh, they're evil. I mean, that's how they get us. You can't do anything about it. And then so we cleared the whole city. I lost my best friend right in front of me. We were actually back clearing. So we had sectors that we would like back clear for the day and do a patrol on. And we're like, all right, we're going to clear this section, this section, this section. And where they say complacency kills, it does. Yeah. Because we have already cleared this house where he died. We already blew the door in with C4, so we've seen all the metal shrapnel was blown in. We have already cleared this house before. We're just going through the motions, clear, 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 and then not clear, just machine gun fire like crazy. And we were just crawling our way out, doing anything we could get out of the house. I seen daylight. I was crawling for daylight because when you shoot inside a concrete house, machine guns, the percussion, the dust comes off the walls and you just can't see anymore. So you're just going for daylight at this point, and sparks are flying off the walls. I mean, I made it outside. Matthews was right in front of me, and then we're yelling Faircloth's name, Meadows' name, trying to get them to come out. Meadows ended up jumping out a side window like a minute later, and he was already had tears in his eyes. He was like, they got Brad. So we had to go right back in there. We regrouped and immediately went back in there, like within minutes.
Yeah.
And throwing grenades already. And they had already, the bad dudes had already escaped out a back window, but first squad was already right next to us, and they laid waste to him coming out the back window. They didn't have a chance. But we went in there and grabbed Brad and dragged him out and started doing life-saving everything we could, but there was nothing we could do.
Yeah. What was like the medical evacuation plans when you guys took casualties like that?
Gosh, it was fast. It was the Army. I don't know. It was so fast, and it was the Army that did our CAS evacs. Like, gosh, there's a lot of guys that got wounded before this, like Fox, Leo. But yeah, we took casualties. It was always we'd call in medevac quick, and it was always like Bradley's that would come in, Army guys. Bradley, we always had corpsmen with us, of course. Our docs were with us, and our docs are there to stop the bleeding, save your life until real medical treatment gets there. And they're damn good at their jobs. They saved a lot of us, but the Army gets there and they're fast, man. It's like they were right behind us at all times. I feel like within 15 minutes, you already had like 3-4 Bradleys there, medevacing people. And I never got medevac, so I have no clue what happened after that, to be honest. I never got medevaced, and I didn't know what happened to them. I know when I zipped Brad in a body bag. We cut his dog tag off, and we gave him to the Army guys. They were really nice about it because that was rough on us, our fire team. That was our point man. And they were really nice about that because we wanted them to treat him with dignity, and they did, man. Right there on the battlefield, they were like super cool about that. And then I never seen them again, But that was it.
So, how long is the like? Let's just say the progression of the battle. Like, how do you know if it's getting like it's going up or down? You know what I mean?
The progression of the Battle of Fallujah, it
Yeah.
was it was pretty much over when we hit the end of the city. The major part of the battle, like pushing through that city, that was, I would pretty much say, that was most of the firefights. After that, that's when the scary stuff happened. That's when they were already barricading themselves in the houses. It's the guys that somehow snuck around us that got by us. Somehow we didn't clear. And now they're still stuck in the city, and now we're back clearing. We're
Yeah.
going through each house again and marking each house. And that's when it got scary because those guys weren't teamed up with each other trying to fight us or anything. It was onesies and twosies usually hiding on their own and trying to take us out. But we weren't taking any prisoners either. You know what I mean? There was no ROEs in that city. You're there, you're dead.
Yeah. So did I'm curious. Like, did they tell? Was there like a warning? Like, hey, get out of the city now? Or
Oh yeah, they sent flyers in there like months ahead of time, and they were actually, I think they built like tons of housing for them to get out of that city because they knew the insurgents took it over, and they were like supplying for that city to be 99% empty when we got in it. There was, you know what I mean? Most people were smart enough to get the hell out.
Right.
And I knew they were like doing gunshot residue like on their hands and stuff as they were escaping the city and taking some people prisoner. Like, why were you shooting a gun recently? But I think that was all to do with the Army. I was in Marine Corps Infantry. We're such a small blip in the military. Like, the Marine Corps Infantry is tiny.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't do stuff like that. We did like house to house, little battles here. We didn't have the guys to set up a checkpoint to usher people out of a city and stuff like that.
So when the end of the Battle of Fallujah happens, dude, how long do you guys take until you leave?
I remember they moved us out in December, so we were in the city too long, probably 4 or 5 weeks. It was over, but we were combat ineffective.
Yeah.
So you lost so many guys that our unit couldn't fight anymore. And it's not, Marines don't just replace you really quick. You know what I mean? You got to work together and train together before we're going to fight together. It's not like, hey, this guy's your new point man. Like, fuck you. I don't know you. You know what I mean? You're not my point man. So they put us combat ineffective because we had so many guys sent home injured and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. There wasn't a lot of us left. And they sent us to Abu Ghraib. I don't know if you know about that prison. The Army dudes like got in trouble there for like taking pictures with the prisoners and all that stuff.
I heard about it. Yeah.
Okay, that was a big thing right before we went there. We're like, what? We're going to this place? You know what I mean? That happened right around the time we were going there.
Yeah.
We're like, we ain't going to this weirdo place that the Army runs, But it was actually pretty nice. We never seen any of it. They were super nice to us because they knew we just came out of Fallujah, and we were pretty much like, we're nobody, man. We have like 14 dudes left in my platoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they put us in. They moved the actual prisoners out of all the prison cells that were there, out into these huge tents, and they gave us all the prison cells, which was like nice. We had air conditioners in there, 2 men to a cell. We spent Christmas in there. I remember J.P. Bush's dad sent him like a little 2-foot tall Christmas tree, and we decorated that and celebrated Christmas in his room, a whole bunch of us. And I think we got home in February. They didn't make us do anything. They tried to say we were going to do a patrol around Abu Ghraib, like since the Marines are here and you guys have been here like a month, but we were like, you are crazy. We are not doing any patrols around any city. You guys can have that.
How do you feel that as a young Marine and you just did one of the most intense battles of the global war on terror?
I mean, I was shell shocked after that. That changed me as a person for sure. You know what I mean? I lost all emotions in that city. Like, I felt bad for people before that. Now I don't. You know what I mean? You just see so much death, and you have so much anger after your friends die. You know what I mean? After you see that, like, so and so's, you hear about it. So and so and Bravo Company died. So and so and Bravo Company died. It's like, these are your buddies. You've been here 3.5 years with these guys, surfing on the off time, like hanging out, going fishing together. Now, like, this is crazy. It starts hitting home. So you get like anger. I have a hatred towards those people still to this day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to get rid of that. So I lost emotion in that city. A lot of us did. All
Mm.
of us. We were kind of like dead in the eyes after we came out. Like, all the army looked at us like we were just dead people walking around. I mean, that's how we felt.
Yeah. And then when you guys reintegrate back in to the States, you know, in February, how much do you want to continue being a Marine, or you're like, dude, this took way too much out of me?
Yeah, I knew I wasn't staying in. My wife was already pregnant, and
Uh-huh.
I got back, and my wife was 8 months pregnant. So that was a shocker to me. I never even seen a pregnant person before. Now my wife's 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
I got married right when we got back because we weren't married before. And in the military, I'm not about to pay to have a kid. When if I get married to you first, now it's covered. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So we pulled one of those quick weddings, got married, had a kid. They did like, I got out in May, got back late February, got out of the Marine Corps in May
Mm-hmm.
on terminal leave. So we had like no reintegration back into civilian population or even the United States. So it was, that's crazy to me to think that we just, they sent us back. It was so easy to check out too out of the Marine Corps then, because all of us, all of our gear, they put in the burn pits while we were over there. If we had blood on it, if we had anything on our stuff, they burned it all in the burn pits. So checking out was like going to supply, like, oh, you came back from 1-8, you don't need anything. You know what I mean? They just, all my gear was just considered burned. So I
Yeah.
didn't, checking out was like the easiest thing in the world. All these guys are like, oh, checking out's the worst. You got to come up with 3 poncho liners and all this other stuff. I was like, that was the easiest thing for me. I had to come up with nothing. They're like, oh, you're back for more. We did a huge memorial. That sucked for like all the families, 21 dudes in my company or in our battalion.
Yeah.
And we finally got to see all like the wounded guys. That was nice. Guys on crutches, missing legs and shit. Like, that was crazy. Coming back with bionic arms. Santa Maria had a bionic arm and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, you get to see these guys, so it was nice getting to hug it out with them. And but it was like, it was so fast for me personally. I got back. They knew I was getting out. A lot of us were getting out. You know, we all came in at the same time. We're all pretty much getting out at the same time. So they kind of ushered us away from the battalion. They put us like in a headquarters battalion. The
Mm-hmm.
guys that were getting out in the next month or two, just checking out. And then all the guys that were staying in, like all the guys that were our boots to us, now they were already getting new guys like dropped to them. You know, new
Mm-hmm.
guys out of school of infantry. They were continuing along the progression of the Marine Corps and that battalion, and we were just checking out, and it was super easy. I checked out like nothing, like easy as butter, and left that base and drove my car all the way home and never looked back.
Yeah. Was it easy to come back, or like did you feel some type of way? Like did you feel like like obviously you still hate those people over there, but like how do you about yourself? You know what I mean?
I mean, for me, I'm not gonna lie, I got involved right in drugs immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I started doing, it was the opiate pandemic then too, like Oxycontins and stuff was coming out then.
Right.
So I started doing that. And I think now, I mean, I don't do that now. I did that for like 6-8 months and I got smart enough. My wife was like, you're done doing that. But
Yeah.
like, I think that was my way of like numbing what my brain was doing, because I just left war, like intense war. And now I'm home living at my mother-in-law's, about to have a baby and trying to figure out like real life and a paycheck and all this other stuff, where I think that was just like a coping mechanism for that time period of my life. But then
Yeah.
I got it back on the tracks and started a normal job and had a normal life after that.
Yeah, they don't really teach you guys how to like, I want to say let it go, but you know what I mean? Like kind of like work it
Yeah,
out,
there's no
going
like
back.
reintegration, no like step down from being a heightened level of alertness. There's no like, okay, everything's all right now, we're not in war anymore. They just leave you at that level until you go home. I feel like that's just crazy to
Mhm.
me.
Yeah. Did it get difficult? Like, you know, did you ever have like survivor's guilt or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I dealt with that for years. I mean, lots of survivor's guilt. How do you, how did I make it without even getting hit? I didn't even get a Purple Heart. You know what I mean? It's like, all my buddies have them. Like I didn't even get how to. I ain't even that fast. I ain't that agile. You know what I mean? I just got lucky as shit, I guess.
Yeah. It kind of sucks too, right? Because like, the VA back then and everything like that. Honestly, my friend kind of compared like the GWOT vets almost to like Vietnam vets. They kind of just don't. They kind of just push people to the side. Society.
Oh yeah, like I didn't even know about the VA. They don't tell us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I had no clue the VA even existed or what it was for. Nothing. And actually, how I found out about it was I was going through some PTSD stuff. There's there's a factory behind the apartment I was living in, and there was a lot of Muslims there. I thought there was, and I was constantly checking the back window on their brakes and stuff, and constantly eyeballing. And my wife's like, "You need to go start to talk to somebody. Normal people aren't like this." And I had a gun in my hand and everything. Like I was just waiting for them to come by my house and attack it with their cars. And I was like, "This is going crazy." So my wife actually called the veteran like helpline. It's like my husband needs to talk to somebody. And then they set me up an appointment with the VA, and that's how I even knew the VA existed
Yeah.
right then and there. And that was probably 6 to 8 months after I got out.
Yeah. Are you still like dealing with a lot of the PTSD and stuff like that
I
nowadays?
mean, I've had 20 years to digest this now. So, I mean, obviously I have PTSD, but I don't really it doesn't affect me where I'm like super sad. Loud noises don't affect me. Like, I don't like bangs or something like that doesn't affect me. I mean, I just deal with it in a different way. I feel horrible that my friends all died at that age. You know what I mean? That's what sucks. And like their families I talk to now, like my best friend's family, he's right behind me in that picture if you can see right there. But his mama I talk to every day. She texted me yesterday and she's like almost a second mom to us. And he was an only child, single mother too. So it's not like she has other kids. So she adopted all of us as her kids. So she checks on us weekly. She even talks to my wife.
Yeah. Like I feel like they're like you said, the VA and everything like that. They're pretty bad at it too though. Like because like I go see the VA and everything like that. They're very like I just don't feel like they understand. Do you understand what I'm
No,
saying?
there. See, I went there and I talked to like a therapist or psychiatrist and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, you're probably eligible for some VA disability
Uh huh.
from what you did." I didn't even know that was a thing. I never even heard of this.
Yeah.
And then they actually gave me VA disability from that mark on out, but I was never 100% ever. I was only at 60% my whole life until got cancer, and then they obviously
Yeah.
gave me 100%.
How did you like what did they say developed the cancer from being overseas?
I mean, honestly, it's Biden, President Biden, when he signed that PACT Act,
Yeah.
which is, it has like cancers on there from the burn. It has all the burn pits associated with it, all the things that could come about from the burn pits from the Iraq Afghanistan wars, which were never indoctrinated into the VA system. You know what I mean? Because of such a recent war. So he signed that. And GI cancer, I have colon cancer that
Uh-huh.
spread. GI cancer was like number 2 on the list after like lung cancer. So as soon as I already had cancer before this,
Mhm.
as soon as that got approved, I went in and signed up for 100% or for more disability to get 100%, and they approved it right away. They
Right.
actually back paid me all the way back to the date I found out because I went for it then and they denied it. But like a year and a half later, they signed that PACT Act and then they approved it, and so they back paid me.
Uh-huh. So how would you say you dealt with the reintegration and everything like that? Like did you talk to people or did you rely on people?
Gosh, no, I was a hermit.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. Thank gosh for my wife, and I had 2 young kids. I mean, I had a baby, and then we had our son a year and 10 days later. So I
Yeah.
had 2 babies at the same time,
Yeah.
and I got a job. And I mean, it's just I think it's who I am as a person. I put myself through high school. Like I'm pretty a motivated person, and I'm not gonna let myself struggle or lose. So once I figured out like I need to take care of my wife, kids, I got a job and started working, and I put all my focus on pretty much work and
Yeah.
being successful. So I
Did
pretty much focused all my life on that.
what the jobs that you found outside of the Marines, did it like give you the same type of like how did you find the same type of like purpose behind it to get through everything, you know?
I've had a couple pretty cool jobs. First job was just a crappy factory job out of the military,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked there for a couple years. But then I got a job as a lineman actually with IBW. I was doing
Nice.
that, and
Yeah.
that's pretty. I've always had a job surrounded by men. Never worked with women ever. Pretty male dominant jobs. Like that's just I think where I thrive at, and it's a competition, so I'm better at it that way. So I worked that for a while, and then I got a job at CSX Railroad. So I quit doing alignment and started working at the railroad. I was home a lot more often.
Mm-hmm.
Started as being a conductor, and the railroad's like 90% veterans, man. They
Yeah.
hire 90% veterans. Almost all of us, it's 99% men working there. It's small two-man teams. There's not like a big work environment. You don't see your bosses 99% of the time. You go in, engineer, conductor, grab your train, do your work, you get off duty. I mean, I thrive in that situation. I did that most of my life till I got cancer, man. I was a
Mm-hmm.
locomotive engineer.
Yeah. What would you how would you talk to your fellow combat veterans that been through serious intense fighting like that? Like how would you tell them to be
Gosh, I don't know.
reintegrate?
To reintegrate?
Yeah, like how would they like? Because there's even guys like the dudes that were in the Korengal Valley and stuff like that. They're just going through such intense fighting. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
just like, how would you tell them like, hey, this is how I did it, or if they wanted to talk to you, like, what would you be talking to them about?
I mean, don't do drugs. Don't numb it. I can tell them not what not to do because
Mm-hmm.
that did not help. Dealing with it, talking about it. Talking about it was, I never hid anything from anybody about war. You know what I mean? I'll tell my kids, I'll tell my wife, I'll tell everybody exactly what happened. And I think that's really helped me throughout my life of dealing with PTSD and de-escalating from the situation was to be able to talk about it with anybody and everybody. I think bottling that stuff up and holding it is
Yeah.
probably the worst thing you can do. It'll eat you alive. You know what I mean? And I've always had someone to talk to about it, which I've always had my wife, who's, gosh, God bless her, she's dealt with it. She's had to hear my stories, even though she doesn't want to. But it's easier to talk about it. And then I'm maintaining contact with my buddies. Like that's a huge thing too. Like we talk weekly, all like, gosh, 3 4. There's group texts in my phone, 2 or 3 of them. I mean, these guys I haven't seen since 2004 2005. We're still like best friends every day. It's
Yeah.
2025, still texting nonstop. I've had jobs for years after this. I don't talk to any of those guys. I worked for the railroad for 16 years. I don't talk to any of them. I still talk to my Marine Corps buddies in Alpha Company from those 4 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So talking to those guys really helps. You know what I mean? Because then you
Yeah.
have someone you can relate to that did the same thing you did. Where talking to people at home for me was no one's on my level. I can tell you all day, but you have no clue what I'm really talking about. Even therapists or psychologists, they're like, oh, okay, but you don't understand.
Yeah.
So talking to your buddies, you're like, all right, you remember this? Remember this? Like all of a sudden you can go through things and remember better with your buddies. But it's cool while you're talking to them, but after that, you feel better about it. You know what I mean? You're like, well, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that was cool. Chatted about that. That's off your chest. Like, I think talking about it is the best way
Yeah.
for me. I mean, I can't say it for everybody, but bottling that stuff up is not good.
Right. Well, Paul Smith, I appreciate this show, dude.
I
I
appreciate
I
you.
I thank you for your time, man. And do you have any questions for me or anything like that?
No, I appreciate everything you gave and all the questions, and I appreciate you letting me talk, man.
All right, brother. Paul Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
Have
Thank you so much for watching this episode. Once again, please subscribe, share this content. If you have anybody that you wish to get onto the show, please send them my way. And with that, catch you on the next episode.